1937, Engineering College, Ranebennur. Mechanical Engineering, Neeraja Sundaram. Yeah, that's me, my maiden name. And this was the result of the Common Entrance Test of Karnataka, what we call as CET, that I wrote to get a seat. Did I join? No. Did I feel bad about not joining? Not really. Now you're going to ask me, why did I write the CET if I was not interested in joining an engineering college? So let me now flash back to the day when I got my 10th standard CBSE board marks. I'd scored some good marks, but even before I could think about what I wanted to do in my 11th, the herd had pushed me towards PCMB. Physics, chemistry, maths, biology, the only science combination that we used to have in those days for 11th and 12th. And before I knew, I was preparing with the rest of the herd to write the entrance exam. And the results were for you to see: 1937th rank. That was the day I decided that I was not going to follow the herd. I was going to do what I was passionate about, what I was happy about, what I enjoyed doing. Let me give you all a trivia. It is said that it takes just a minority of less than 5% to direct a crowd in any direction that they wish. And the rest of the 95% do not even get to know about it. This is called the herd mentality, H-E-R-D. Now let us look at the life that Neeraja led after she decided she was not going to follow the herd. Now what does a science student who decides not to do engineering or medicine do? The next best thing that she can do is a BSc, a Bachelor of Science. Now the only subject that brought a smile on my face was mathematics. So I decided that I would do a BSc in mathematics, mathematics, and mathematics. Now how does one find a combination like this? In those days, we did not have the internet and Google search. So I had to actually step out of the house and walk into every college and ask them what courses they offered. And there it was. In Vijaya College, mathematics, economics, statistics. Maths is maths. Statistics is like maths, but of course my daughter will disagree to that. And economics I thought is something like maths. So let me join this. I joined MES in Vijaya College. There were less than 25 students in our class because it was one of those unknown combinations. Otherwise you had a PCM, physics, chemistry, maths, or a CBZ, a chemistry, botany, zoology. And on this stage today, I can very courageously say that I was pathetic at physics and chemistry, and I used to faint at the sight of the dead cockroaches and lizards on the dissection table in the biology class. Now, the 3 years of my BSc were one of the very best years of my life, I should say. I topped every test and exam. I scored 100 on 100 in maths and statistics and the top marks in economics, and I graduated as the topper. What a difference to the 11th and 12th standard, which I lived a life of misery, eventually getting a 1937th rank in the CET. How did this happen? Because I chose to follow my passion. So the message to all of you here is, choose your passion, follow your passion, and you will have a happy and a successful life. Now, after finishing my graduation, I was looking around to see what next to do, and that was the time when the computer industry, the software industry was booming, and we had a lot of institutes. They were offering courses, software, hardware, programming, with the promise of a well-paying job at the end of it. So I decided to join NIIT for a 4-semester advanced diploma in systems management. All my friends were looking at masters and MSc statistics or mathematics or chartered accountancy, and here I was thinking of a diploma. My friends actually told me that I could do both of them together because this course was only for 6 hours every week. 3 days a week, 2 hours every day, 4 hours of theory and 2 hours of practical. So they said you could do both together, but I was not interested in a master's. And let me ask you, how can you learn something with just 2 hours of practicals, that too computers and software? You needed to practice more. And to practice more, what do you need? You need a computer. And in those days, we didn't have computers at home. Only the rich and the fashionable owned them. So we used to hang around in the NIIT Institute looking for a spare PC if somebody had bunked a class or the faculty had not come, and practice and practice and practice. So it actually became like a full-time course. Now, by the time I came to the 3rd semester, Sonata, one of the IT companies in India, came to NIIT to hire some programmers on a contract basis for a 3-month assignment. Many of us got selected, but it was a full-time job, 8 to 9 hours every day. And I told you we already had made our course like a full-time course. Many of my friends who got selected decided to take a break from their classes. That was possible. You could take a break of 3, 6 months or up to a year and then restart later, because there was a promise of permanent employment if you performed well in those 3 months. Well, I didn't want to take a break because you know what? My father was on another job. He was looking out for a boy for me to get me married. And I had no clue what life would be after marriage, so I wanted to finish this course before that. So I said, I will do both together. Again, I was told by my friends that I will mess up both. Bad marks at an IIT, and probably not perform as well at Sonata to get that permanent job. But I said, no, I will do both. It was hard, extremely hard, but I did. The 3 months became 6 months, and the 6 months became 9 months. They extended our contract. And at the end of the 9th month, we all got a permanent job at Sonata. But there was a difference. I had also finished my advanced diploma in systems management, and I had topped the class. While many of my friends who took a break could never get back to finish their course. How did I do this? Because I had a vision. A vision that made me jump out of bed every day to do the things that I was doing in those days. So create a vision for yourselves that ensures that you get out of the bed yourselves and not somebody to push you out of the bed. Now, I told you about my father who was on the lookout for a groom for me. That was the time when most of the eligible bachelors in India were in the US or were going to the US because the employment market there had opened up. The software industry was booming, a lot of software programmers from India were getting employed there, the US dollars was good, life would be good. Girls wanted to get married and go there, or go there for further studies or employment. But I told my father, find any guy that you wish to, but he needs to be in India. I could have had a good life anywhere, but I am the only child of my parents. So I knew my parents would lead a very lonely life if I left. So that was my criteria. And my father struggled for 4 years to find Mr. T.N. Ganesh, to whom I am now happily married for the last 27 years. He had a lot of criticism from other family members in the community saying, why are you listening to this weird girl who's got some crazy ideas and you're struggling to find a boy for her, and it's so late in life. But he always supported me. In the 25 years of my IT career, there were many opportunities for going on site. You could get a 3 months, 6 months, up to a year-long project which took you abroad, work with the customer, a lot of learning and exposure. You could come back and after a few months again go on abroad. I declined every such opportunity because what is the point of a life where I am on site and my husband here is in Bangalore? He was running an air conditioning business. So he obviously had to be physically here to look after clients, ensure the sales, the installation, the maintenance happens. Now, I don't know if COVID has taught us how to do this also remotely, but definitely in that time, he had to physically be there. So I was not interested in a marriage which was me there and he here. So I declined those opportunities. Did it hurt my career? Well, it slowed it down a little. But at the end of 25 years, when I quit from my corporate IT career, I had a designation of director at a global organization called Capgemini. So I think that's what matters. What am I trying to tell you here? Remember the herd? Please do not follow the herd. Don't be in the 95%. Believe in yourselves and do what you wish to do. Now you might be thinking, this works for your generation. It doesn't work for the Gen Z. So let me give you a Gen Z story. My daughter, when she came to the 8th standard, we asked her what she would like to do. Engineering, medicine, management, law, and a few options, and she said no to all of them. She said, what she enjoys is mathematics. Yes, history does repeat itself. But she also had a lot of other interests. She is a public speaker, she debates, she writes, she has published a book. So she said, in the ICSE syllabus that she was in, the academic pressure was a bit too much on her, leaving her with little time to pursue her other interests. So she did some research, spoke to her teachers and seniors and said that I would like to move to the Karnataka State Board where the academic pressure might be a little less, giving me more time to pursue other interests. Well, we as her parents were okay with it. She was okay with it, but guess what? Her friends' parents were not okay with it. The number of calls that I got from her friends' parents saying that a class topper cannot be making such a move and that I must send her to a counselor so that they drill some sense into her. Well, she did what she wanted to do, and today she is in her final year BSc doing mathematics, statistics, computer science. Yeah, the E got replaced with a C, but doing so many other things and enjoying her life. And the last story for today, which will have a visual appeal, I was chosen as one of the 11 global leaders across the organization for a women's leadership development program, a residential program which was to be in Paris, a 4-day program. There were leaders from US, UK, India, a few, Dubai, and Japan. And as part of the orientation, we were told that the dress code for this program is Western formals. Now in my life, I have always worn only saris, never a Western formal, and sometimes a salwar. And I had no interest in wearing a Western formal just to be part of that program. So I told the coordinator that I will wear a salwar or a sari because that's considered formal in India. She was taken aback, but she went back and spoke to the people and came back to me and she said that I could wear a salwar. Now, I do want to give some takeaways from all these stories, but before that, let me give you a disclaimer. If you wish to do engineering, by all means do so. But if you wish to, not because you want to follow the herd, if you wish to wear Western formals, please go ahead and wear it. but not because it's a mandate and you feel compelled to comply and can't speak up, or because you will stand out like a sore thumb like I'm doing in that picture. Now for the 3 takeaways of today. I told you, follow your passion, embrace your dreams, because there is no glass ceiling for a girl or a boy who wishes to try. Create a vision for yourselves and be courageous. If you have the courage to start, you will have the courage to succeed. And finally, believe yourselves and trust yourselves regardless of what anyone tells you. This girl who did not join the engineering college in Ranebennur is today speaking at the TEDx event hosted by JPSRanebennur, just because she chose to be herself. Thank you.